We're supposed to reef our boat roughly when the wind is blowing 15 knots. So we had every intention of sailing today, but it doesn't look like it's in the cards. We're consistently over 15 knots, and we had gusts up to 20-25. And the problem with that is we can't reef. Okay, so welcome back. As you can tell in this video, we're not going to go sailing because we cannot do so. We're supposed to reef our boat at 15 knots, and it's consistently over 15 knots, and we can't reef because we don't have the equipment. We're going to buy all the hardware, and we're going to install a reefing line back to the cockpit so that when the wind is high, we can just pull the line, reef, and go sailing anyway. We have the equipment here, or at least back here, but we don't have any line. We have the track, we have the cheek blocks. They're old, there's nothing attached to them. We don't have a cheek block at the front of the boom. We don't have the equipment to send the line down or back to the cockpit if we were going to do single line reefing, which I think we're going to do. For us starting off, that's probably the way to go because we don't want to be running out to the deck in a situation where you need to reef. So we're going to measure it up, order the stuff, and rig it up like that. So measure from the cheek block on the boom up to the cringle is 6 feet, down to the cringle 6 feet. We also determined it was 10 feet to the cleat. It'll go 6 feet up and 6 feet down here as well, so that's another 12 feet. So 25 plus 12 is 37, 38, 40. Another foot and a half here, we can just call that 2. 42, it's another 7 feet to this clutch here. That's what, 50 feet? My math is gone. So if it's 60 feet long, we should be fine. In the last video, we talked about our magical project list for this season before we can't sail anymore for the winter, and I left it at home because I'm a moron. But this time I have the list, so we're going to rip through that really quick.
But wait, before we do that, shouldn't we go over all the things that we accomplished over the winter?
Sure, we can do that. What you got?
The first thing was we installed new dock bumpers. Then we repaired a leaky stanchion. Then we installed some shore power cord hangers. The last thing on the list, we installed some Teflon tape for our companionway hatch.
So we got the Teflon strips installed on the sides of our companionway hatch, and now when I give it a little push, it opens all the way up. It still feels a little bit grindy at the back, but I could just use one finger, push it, and it goes all the way open, so I'm gonna have to label that as a success. How about you? You choose not to answer. So back to our list of things that we need to do between now and the end of the season. It's a pretty extensive list, so I'm just going to rip through it, and I'm sure these things will show up in videos over the rest of the season. So reefing setup, replace traveler, holding tank monitoring, install life sling, learn to use our anchor, stay overnight at anchor, go up the mast, practice man overboard drills, port latch shades, stern perch seats, upgrade to smart plug for our shore power cable, square hatch latch, replace dock lights, outland hatch covers, replace the dock lines, install dripless shaft seal, replace air intake, research paint for our deck, add refrigeration, relocate our stereo, upgrade our TV, practice fishing or learn how to fish with a Cuban reel, replace the weird shelf in our boat with something more practical than a weird shelf, and do ASA 103, 104 courses. So as you can see, we have a big old list of things to do.
So what are we going to do first? So what are we going to do first?
I don't know. So obviously the first thing that we need to do is fix reefing, because that prevents us from sailing when there's just a little bit too much wind. The next thing I'd like to do probably is fix our traveler. I feel a little lazy. I just want to drink beer and hang around. So if you think you've got that,
I got this.
Yeah, you got that? Okay, well, if you can take care of that, then that one automatically off the list. Boom, next item.
One of our projects is to upgrade our Traveler because when we're out sailing, I have a hard time pulling it by myself. So, I can get it over, but it's really hard. So most of the time I switch places with Steve and then he comes and moves the Traveler. But we're gonna make it easier so that I can move it by myself.
I'm feeling a little lazy today, so I think I'm gonna make Darla replace the Traveler instead of doing it myself. And I'm just gonna kick back and have a beer. It's gonna be great.
Can I use my teeth?
Remember our first tripod? What happened to our first tripod?
I dropped it in the water.
Why?
It was attached to your backpack.
Did you go get it?
No, I need a magnet. So we think we know what the problem is. When you pull it this way, you can hear the bearings and it seems to go smoothly. But when you go this way, it's just metal on metal. So anytime the main sheet's under load, anytime the main sheet's tight, then that pulls that up and then it makes it hard where I can barely push it. But this way it goes just fine.
And there was much rejoicing.
So the plan is to get the new car on here. They shipped it with the caution that this is full of ball bearings, and so you don't want to take this off or the ball bearings will go everywhere. So the new one came with a track that it's on. So I'm going to take this end piece off, and then I'm going to butt up the track to here. I'm going to roll the new car onto this track, and then we're going to put the new end piece on, and then we're going to come to the other side and we're going to take that off and then take the track that was shipped with the new car and roll this onto that track so we don't lose any bearings that are in here, and then put our new end piece on. Now that we have the new car on, you can see like I can just barely touch it. Well, a while ago when the boat was moving, it was moving by itself. Sounds much better. So now all we have left to do is we have bumpers that we have to install on either end here. So when this goes in an accidental jibe, it doesn't cram up against these. Now the rubber stoppers are in place, and so they can't bang. How many times do I need to do this?
100.
So we got our new Traveler installed, and we were putting our main sheet back up here. And we noticed when we got up here that our swivel piece is broke, and it looks like the previous owner put on a shackle. And before it wasn't a problem because our previous car, the loop went this way, and then now we've got one that's going this way, and that's a problem because our fiddle block now is turned sideways, so we're gonna have to replace this. So we might decide to go ahead and replace it using all three of these. But that's another instance where we've come to the boat to solve one problem and we're going home with another one that we have to solve. So stay tuned for more on this.
So Traveler's fixed, so now we can start tackling the rest of the things on the list. And I guess that's about it. Do you have anything to add?
Well, we gotta go order all our stuff for the reefing.
We have to order all the stuff for reefing. I don't think that will be a problem. Catalina Direct. Bing! That's where that's the place. That's where you go. We should probably go ahead and order our tank monitoring stuff too. I mean that one probably gonna climb up the list in priority. Monitoring your holding tank seems very important. And if you own a Catalina, you probably already know why. We won't get into that.
So I guess that's it then.
Yeah, so other than that, I guess we will see you guys next time. Alternate ending. Yeah, so we replaced the hell out of that Traveler. That was awesome. High five. What in the hell are those people doing with their hands?
She doesn't know how to do a high five.
Oh my gosh. And other than that, we will see you guys next time. What? Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Dude.
Got done with the projects that we can do. So we got done with the projects that we can do for the day. So now we're going to bust out a hot dog and call it a day.
How's your hot dog?
It's pretty good. It's real good. The only thing that would make it just a little bit better would be the tiny bit of Parmigiano Reggiano on top. There you have it. Ding. We should learn Spanish.
Bye.
Peace.
Yeah.